Okay, here's one of my pantries. I got about 2 of them. In this one, well, I would say combined with the other one, got about a year's worth of food for 2 or 3 people. You got buckets filled with wheat, sugars, pastas, various beans. I got containers on the bottom shelf there as well. Tons of different food items. Again, beans, soup mixtures, and whatnot. Everything you can possibly think of here. Is it complete? No, I need to do a little bit more work on that. A lot of, just in the Mountain House cans alone on that bottom shelf, I got about 3 months. So I'm considering those cans and the rest of what's in this room about a year's worth of food. So here, we're going to be doing an experiment today. 15 years in the making. This is my experiment bucket. Much of this was dehydrated. With the exception of this. This is Raisin Bran Crunch cereal. May 2015. We're going to be eating this today and seeing how it tastes. Why? I don't know. I guess mainly because out of everything here, some air got in here. Either the product in this shrunk, or somehow a hole got in this. But we're going to be doing an experiment if it's still edible. Along in this bucket, apples sliced, dehydrated with cinnamon sprinkled on them. 2015. I'm pretty certain that these are going to be okay. Raisins. Almonds. Trying to handhold this camera. More raisins. Kale. Garden kale. 2015. Blueberries, dehydrated, 2015. Blueberries right here. Various spices. This is cinnamon. Well, you get the point. More apples, cinnamon apples. Everything is airtight with the exception of this. So I don't understand what happened. Either the product in here shrunk again, or somehow a pinhole got into it. Normally with this container, we have a white, here it is, a white lid on top of it. More buckets of various foods, pastas, sugars, rices. I have about 3 different types of rices here. Just about every freaking bean you can fathom. Pinto beans, you name it, white navy beans. Everything is not seal-milled. It's packed in Mylar bags, and the air is sucked out with an oxygen absorber in each one of them. Every container, even the ones down below. Every container. So let's go ahead and start this experiment. It might be depending on how it tastes, it might be a very short video. Stay tuned. Okay, so here we are. I don't normally drink Gatorade in the morning, but just in case I need to wash my mouth out real quick, I brought some along. The cereal, the milk. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm not really looking forward to this. Again, the cereal was packaged 2015. At the time, the bag was airtight. So we're gonna see how it tastes. If not, at least I've learned something, right? Let me just adjust the camera. Well, I'll be doing some vacuuming. Let me get this off of me. Normally I could tell by the smell of how something is, if it's gone bad. It actually smells okay, I would say, on the neutral side. So let's go ahead and pop some of this in. Get this out of here. Crunches, little nuggets of cereal in here. Crack this in case I need it. Oh. Okay, a little milk, a little shamrock milk. Put this down here, get it out of the way. Yeah, I'm going to be doing some vacuuming. All right, let's go ahead and do it. I'm normally right-handed. I'll eat with my left hand. It tastes all right. Surprisingly, it tastes all right. I got to stop spitting, but it tastes all right. You know what I wish? I had a box of fresh cereal to compare the two. But normally, like when nuts go bad, what's that word? Like when a nut, I should Google the word actually. You know, when an oil goes bad in a nut, you have that flavor. Rancid, that's the word I'm looking for. So I noticed, and I'm going to continue to eat my breakfast here now. This was an experiment, 15 years, a little air in the bag. And trust me, if this was bad, I wouldn't eat it. So, let me go over a few things that do not have longevity. Oatmeal doesn't do too well in the original box that you purchase it in. When you seal a meal it tastes all right. Peanuts do not do well at all. However, that bag, I've never tried it where it was seal-a-mealed, where there's zero. See, what causes the rancid, what causes the oils to go bad is oxygen. So when I did the seal-a-meal, that's going to be my next experiment. The lack of oxygen, did it save those almonds or not? We're going to try doing that next. What surprised me was raisins. I purposely brought this out. This is where you can seal a meal. You suck out the oxygen, the air. However, this failed. It doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. But surprisingly, the raisins, although they dehydrated, over 15 years of dehydration here, they're still a little soft and pliable. They taste fine and reconstitute perfectly in a little bit of water. So when I chew on these, they taste 100% perfectly. What I feel in my mouth, though, is almost like granulated sugar. They're dried out, basically. They're dehydrated. So I reconstituted these in the past. I put a little bit of water in a bowl, threw these in. They plumped right back up, and I used the raisins for cinnamon raisin bread. I homemade my own bread. So surprisingly, raisins do extraordinarily well, even when the packaging fails. So this was on for 15 years, so obviously no dust got in, but the oxygen valve failed. Okay, These do, I'm going to change my opinion. These do taste a little bit different from the original. They don't taste rancid like the oil went bad or anything, but they do taste a little bit different. I think in a pinch, in a survival mode, this would be fine. Am I going to continue to eat those? Probably not. In the bag I'm pointing to, I can finish this. But because I'm not in a survival mode, I don't feel desperate enough to eat that. I'll probably chuck it. But I do know if things go bad for us, what foods are acceptable, right? Will they be perfect? Probably not. But as long as they keep me alive and don't get me sick, there's nothing wrong with them. What else did not work for me? There's big logs of Velveeta. You see them at Costco. You see them at Sam's Club. They did not work for me. You open up the long box and you think they're good because they're sealed in this aluminum casing with no air in them. What happened though, I bought about 4 of them when I started prepping, and they sat on a shelf in an air-conditioned pantry. And one day I was reorganizing things, so when I buy new stuff, I normally will move the older stuff in front, put the new stuff in the back. And when I picked up one of the when I picked up one of the Velveeta cheeses, I noticed that the box was extremely oily and foul smelling. I opened it up and the cheese had burst through the aluminum casing that Velveeta cheese comes in. So that's definitely a no-go. Peanut butter, I also noticed, does not do very well. And there's no way to seal a meal that, in my opinion. I haven't tried it. I guess I could, but I noticed in the canister, it doesn't do very well. Is it edible? Yes, I'm totally guilty of making peanut butter sandwiches when I wake up 2 in the morning hungry. It doesn't taste rancid, but it doesn't quite taste the same. It actually gives me some heartburns. But again, in a survival mode, these things could keep you alive, you know. What else? Obviously, I already mentioned oats, but I do suspect that oatmeal in a seal meal bag will last almost indefinitely, because this almost lasted indefinitely. I mean, there is a slight flavor difference, but it's not so foul, and it's not so bad where I need to rinse my mouth out or go vomit or something. And I ate most of it. I did. I ate most of it. I don't know if you could see it. I'll even take another bite. What else? I think the seal meal was one of my best. The dehydrator and the seal meal were some of the best tools I bought for prepping. I'm able to obviously dehydrate all the moisture out of them, regardless of whether they're blueberries, herbs. I've even dehydrated garlic. I went to a farm and bought a big flat of garlic, dehydrated it, and put it in a blender to make my own garlic powder. So, but that's something that you got to do on the outside of the house. You got to, something like that, dehydrating onions and garlic. You need to put the dehydrator outside. Otherwise, you're going to stink up your house permanently with those smells. Other than that, this wasn't all that bad. Honestly, I'm not going to eat it. It does taste a little bit different to me. And, you know, part of, you know, when we have to break into our food stash, Some of it might not taste 100% on the money, but I think this lesson has taught me that there is a gray area between good and bad to eat. So this is, I would say, in the beginning stages of the gray area. So this was a great experiment, and I'm going to let you go. Thanks for tuning in.